I remember when I was just a little girl, and I knew how to run and hide. I played like a little monkey. I climbed every tree I could find. I ate the fruits, I had so much fun. I carried myself on the swing. I remember the vines I used to swing upon. Back and forth they'd bring. My little body was so tiny, I could swing so far up and down. I remember when I was just a little girl, I could play outside. I remember when I was just a child. Remember when I could run and hide. Just looking out, today's Easter day, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I went outside for a few minutes, talked to a friend, and the heat. No one understands, and they don't mean to. I don't know what the heat does. Can't breathe. Veins swell. Shortness of breath, pain, weakness, nausea, fatigue. I love that movie, I Remember Me. I think about that. I remember me. But one day, we have to have that hope. Can you imagine if we just had hope in this life? It'd be horrible. Coxsackie, cytomegalovirus, parvovirus, and chronic Epstein-Barr, all found in 2010 and struggled for 28 years before that. Not as bad as this, definitely. But I could still work and hold a job. And mentally I could right now better than ever. If I could physically do it in my head. My heart wants to. Everything I eat, the temperature, so complicated. It's like viruses, they act like they eat certain things, like even fruits bother me. That's ridiculous. I love fruits. Fruits, 39 things I was allergic to allergist, and puppies and kitties. To give up my puppy. It's pretty hard. It's the only thing I wanted when my kid goes to school was a little puppy. I'm so tired of fighting, but I don't give up. So there's no medicine to treat my illness, and yet Dr. Climate says that it's worse than AIDS. I think it's an understatement. I mean, I don't know. I know they suffer so bad that some of them die instantly and some of them live through it. This is like a long term of HIV. That's basically how she explained it. Long-term HIV AIDS. No doubt. Maybe the wrong doctor gave me the diagnosis, but he gave me the right diagnosis because I knew before he even gave it to me in 1994. I read an article about chronic fatigue syndrome. Chronic fatigue syndrome is such a lame name because underneath there's a cause. There's the root cause causing the chronic fatigue syndrome. And for everybody it's different. For some it's MVA, head trauma, sexual abuse, PTSD, Gulf War syndrome. And I think there's one more named in the CDC right now, but it's going to be 30 years. And I did a very, very vivid video called Real CFS ME, and I can't even get to it right now, but it's on YouTube. I mean, I'm not going to be depressed and always cry, but when I think about those who are sick like that and are like, I mean, for 27 years, all I did was nutrition to fight this. That's it. And I accepted medicine, something I always hated, even for a headache, like Tylenol, Advil. Never take it. Nope. And now I have to take medicine. People think it's a happy thing, or it's I know it can be a dangerous thing, but I don't ever combine my medicines. I always eat food, and that's something that you have to do. You cannot ever take something on an empty stomach or separate from what your doctor says. I mean, I know that's why I'm still alive. The only way I could walk up to the store was, I remember in about.com when they talk about chronic fatigue syndrome and ME, one of the medications that worked for me a lot was the opiate medication, which I had to get off of because it's tolerant and you only have to take more of a dosage to have the same effect, and it messes up your liver. Alright, so I let it go. Those things are not hard to let go. But I'll tell you what, right now from Phoenix Rising is a community where I think the guy is sick himself, like Rich Carlson from Pro Health, and he goes by Jacob Teitelbaum's protocol, which is pretty much what I go through. Jacob Teitelbaum's protocol, and it's nutrition and medicine combined, and how you eat and supplements. And the medicine I never did, but the nutrition and vitamins for a long, long time. The medicine was just past 2 years, and like I started with 2. Now I'm up to 4 on a daily basis, but that's it. If they don't find treatment, I mean, this is as far as I can go. This is as far as I will go. You can't shower for 5 to 7 days. something that I wouldn't normally disclose to the world, because I'm not a type of person at all. So I understand how some of you feel when you can't even get up and go to the bathroom. So if there's something at the end of your life after 28 years that lifts up something, give you some quality of life, even if it's morphine. I mean, I don't take morphine, but I know one person I heard that, they just so long they're sick. I mean, God, let them have some joy. I can write a little note to my kids, and maybe write to you guys online. It's not the cure. When I went through the windshield of the '66 Mustang, a semi-truck hit my side, and I ejected right through the windshield by my head. And it doesn't matter, but it's like from here all the way up into my scalp, and it doesn't matter if you can see it or not. But my CT scan, thank God, and my MRI came out fine. So they dismissed me as everything was okay. What they didn't know, and doctors don't know everything. I mean, we're all limited creatures. I always say that because I'm not going to get angry at the doctors and the people. They just don't have a clue. You're definitely in invisible bars. It's unbelievable. I couldn't imagine someone with this in prison. Oh my God. And just like when you're in that kind of situation, you'll do what it takes, accept illegal, accept things that would hurt someone else or hurt yourself or your children. But I mean, you'll do what it takes. You'll eat green stuff, pink stuff, purple stuff. I've eaten some pretty gross things just so that I can have a special day with my children, and sometimes I couldn't. So they grew up to understand. But for some of you who may have been suffering for a very long time, and there's no cure, and this started in 1987. The movie I Remember Me has a boy on a stretcher who's probably by now severely depressed, but maybe thanks be to God, to his parents that are there for him. He can't lift his legs, and it's just unbelievable. Anyway, some of you, if you want to check out Jacob Teitelbaum, Phoenix Rising, you can forget everything natural, because maybe for some of you that might work. I saw one girl on YouTube saying raw foods, and another one with distilled water. I've done all that stuff. I'm not saying that it doesn't work for some people, but you can't, like, what works for me. I have 3 different viruses, and none of them are better. They're just maintained right now, and actually they're getting worse. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. And the best I can is hard for people to understand. When they look at me, they think, you could do better. They have no idea. I don't think they'd be put through the harsh roads I've been through just to get better. I remember 2 people got mad at me in church, and one of them insisted I eat a certain way, and I did. And for months I did. Actually couldn't have what she was giving me, which was so kind of her, but I couldn't have it. It was carrot juice with beet juice and celery, and I couldn't metabolize the sugar of the beets. So everybody's body is different. We're all different, but we have a common thing, and we can understand one another. The common thing is not the CFS, because I hate that name. Is just a horrible name. CFSME, well, it gives it kind of a name, but I mean, something that takes away a motivated person, like my dad said, and he's right. And sorry if I have lettuce in my mouth. But like my dad said, you were very athletic, and I met my biological father when I was 20. So yeah, there was some personal issues like everybody else has to deal with. But I went to Bally's gym. I worked there. I had a tough time. Working out. I couldn't finish the workouts. Not because I wasn't motivated. I was, like, extremely strong and motivated. Because I couldn't breathe well. I got nauseous. I didn't tell my dad. I should have told my dad, but I didn't. He was so taken by my potential and my looks, even up to this day. He doesn't understand, and it's okay. When your family, friends, I think the worst part is that when you go to the doctor and you get the same closed door over and over and over again, especially if you look good. Like, I'm starting now to, get the effects on the looks and feel the pain. I never had all these, like the symptoms of the pain. I never had fibromyalgia before 2008 is when it started. And I've been sick since 1982. I had severe weakness in my limbs. One woman thought I had my gravis, my thinnest gravis, where there's weakness and numbness in the legs. Turns out that it's I mean, vicious viruses. Very vicious. One of them alone, I have the website. It says it can kill a horse. And with all the discrimination, all the stuff I've been through, I was misdiagnosed as multiple sclerosis, celiac disease, so many things, all except for what they just found in Jackson Hospital in 2010. I encourage you guys to look up the fact that chronic EBV is not always Epstein-Barr. It can come up positive because there's another virus going on in the body. That much I know. I don't know nothing else about what virus you might have, but I know that EBV comes up positive or chronic when there's something else activated. So I would get checked for Coxsackie, B, Parvo B19, cytomegalovirus, CMV, HHV6. I mean, I'd get checked for those things because if even one comes out positive, that can be the underlying cause of everything. I mean, it's debilitating. Just one of those things can be debilitating. So, God bless you all. Don't know what I look like. Don't care about a bad hair day right now. Just doing this out of faith and love for you guys. Always tell God, I'd rather it be me any day than my children. But any of you little children who are going through this, you don't give up. It was one of the toughest diseases to go through because people just disbelieve you so much. Or think you're a druggie because you have to depend on medicines that give you something to do, something in life. You know, I got this medicine for, I believe it's to treat narcolepsy, and that's not, I'm not recommending that to anyone. And what it is for our normal person is nothing near what that is for me. Like, my brain has a lot of cognitive benefits from it. Some doctors may prescribe Ritalin. They prescribed me with that one time. Adderall, but I didn't do good with that. I don't like that. That just made me feel jittery. It's just that my body has gotten so sick that very little really can move me. Like anything that ginkgo biloba, coenzyme Q10, just all of those things that, they see energy in the store, or super B and all that. I take B1 every single day of my life. I take B1. It does make a difference because your body has, even vegetables have sugars. So I take B1 before Dr. Meryl Nass in Mount Desert Island, Maine. She told me about B1, and there was a 500 milligram therapy, but I just buy the CVS brand because I can't afford half those vitamins that they want me to take. But I buy the store brands okay. CVS brands okay because actually they don't have the starch, the gluten, the wheat, and every fish. So check it out. Definitely need vitamins. You definitely need, I don't know what vitamins, but I know that you need multivitamin, mineral, and vitamin C is like a must because vitamin C helps your fighter cells. So I recommend the vitamin C powder if you can. It's a little more expensive, but your body's worth it. It's better than eating out. That's all it costs is maybe a meal out, $15 for a good one. It'll last you maybe 2 months. Per teaspoon or half a teaspoon, it has uh, 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I know cancer patients take that, but if your viral count is very high, you ought to consider that. Well, I'll try to post this up. I love you guys and I suffer with you, and anything better comes my way, I'll share it too. Thinking what I forgot to say is maybe I let the sun in my room every day. It's hard because I can't take any heat without feeling its effects, but I'm not feeling it right now because I'm not near the window. But I do try to go out at least once every day, but honestly, I don't get out every single day, probably 5 times a week. Go to the stairs, I might walk to the pool very slowly. People are looking at me weird because I won't go outside looking like crap. I'll sit down on my bath chair and do my makeup slow as I need to, take care of myself, you know. My daughter loves that. She tells me, Mommy, I want you to fix yourself up. She goes, I'll do your makeup, I'll do your hair. You guys know what I'm talking about. You just don't care about a bad hair day. You just want a good body day. Good body day. You're not worried about a bad hair day. So, anyway, I'll give you more the more I get. And you guys too. I watch your videos, a lot of you, and I learn a lot. Thanks for sharing your stories and sharing your suffering. And may God comfort you and bless you. Happy Easter, everyone.